our next startup is Qritive, I think it's pronounced. Aneesh Sathe.
Yep.
Take it away.
Hello. Thanks. Let me just share my screen. Give me a
How
second.
do you pronounce it? Is it Qritive?
It is Qritive. Yes, perfect.
Qritive. Okay.
Thank you. Let me just see if the slides are up. Yeah. Can you guys see the screen? Let me just move the video. There we go. Alrighty. So I'll just start with like a quick introduction about myself. So hi, I'm Aneesh. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Qritive. And before I started this company, I've actually finished my PhD in a field called as the Mechanobiology, which is like a mix be- between the physics and bio, where I used to do a lot of like microscopy. Eventually, because I got like lazy of all of like the manual, like the analysis, I I then like taught myself how to program. Then I eventually also learned like machine learning, and that work actually brought down my own analysis time from say 3 to 4 weeks to about 10 minutes, and that's where, as like a biologist, I saw the real power of the computational light analysis. And after my PhD, where when I wanted to work on like something much more applied, I saw this opportunity in pathology where there weren't many tools, but the field was ripe to build thi- this kind of like a solution. So just a quick history about pathology. I mean, the history of path goes back hundreds of years, and we have evolved quite a bit. Specifically, in the past 10 to 20 years, like pathology has gone into like a digital form, and we have been now building tools which can automatically analyze a lot of things. However, there are still like challenges which will have to be met. But the way that we see it is that the future of pathology will be fast, distributed, and it'll be personalized. But before we can actually get into that, we do have to solve the current like the challenges which then exist. So first of all, the world of pathology and the work which is being done has been like getting increasingly complex, because the kind of analysis which like pathologists have to do has become more and more complicated as like science advances. And so this, combined with the fact that the world is facing a critical shortage of pathologists, means that patients don't get the best care that they can. Most places in the world don't even have enough pathologists to be able to meet their their local needs. And to add, the distribution of pathologists isn't even either. Most pathologists live in like cities, or in like say like the better off countries, whereas the need like for them is then like somewhere else. Uh, Finally, building AI for pathology also unlocks this ability to do extremely personalized like medicine in the form of like biomarkers and then like therapies, which we are now also like working towards. So just to give everyone a quick overview of the kind of work which is done by pathologists. So on the right side of your screen, what you see is a small section of a pathology slide, which is then analyzed by a pathologist. As most of you must have like done this in your training, you guys are aware that like doctors are then expected to count millions of cells in some cases, just to be able to like come up with only one number which can like decide what the treatment of the patient should be like. So in most cases, the pathologists end up taking like a visual estimate, which could be like dangerous for the patient. So in this particular case, which is for like AKI 67 stain, we can do this kind of analysis automatically, give really accurate like answers extremely fast. And this is just one simple example which I use for everyone. But in terms of like products, what we have is three broad types of like products. For first of all, we have like the AI modules which I just like talked about. Then we also have our platform called as Pantheon. This was initially built because when we started off, there was no system which would allow hospitals to actually show AI output and to be able to do all of their like digital path workflows in one place. And so like Pantheon is actually like vendor agnostic. No matter what kind of like, hardware you have, like what kind of IT like backend you have, like this can be used there. It's also meant to be as a open platform where you don't have to use just our AI modules, but you can use anyone's. And the idea behind this is that we could take like 100 years, but as a company, we can't possibly build AI which is enough to serve all of like histopath. And so which is why we have made this like decision to then like make this open. On the AI side, one of the critical differentiating factors is that, like, compared to our competitors, what we do is we actually draw very specific outlines, and we give scores to those outlines in terms of, say, grade, stage, etc. While most of our competitors are doing, say, things like heat maps, and our kind of output actually helps because this allows the doctors to take really like quantitative uh, outputs and then take like decisions based on those. So to be able to do these kinds of outputs, we need really clean data to go in, and that's where the last bit comes in. We actually have a network of pathologists, which helps us annotate this like data manually, so that the output from the AI is extremely accurate. So I won't go into the details of this, but we have published like, several papers which have shown that our AI is extremely accurate. And in this particular case, we were able to show that by using the AI, we are able to rule out around 62% of all cases with a very high confidence. And this actually brings down the load on the path labs in terms of which cases should be analyzed by lay pathologists in the first place. So far, I've only talked about like clinical applications, but there are also a lot of these on like the pharma and like the biotech side. This can go anywhere from being able to do line analysis from anywhere in the world. With the AI input, you can actually reduce the subjectivity that can come into play, especially between experienced and like newer lay pathologists. The fact that lay pathologists aren't all in the same place can also be fought because now with like a network, you can have anyone from the world do your analysis, and then AI itself can be used to either speed up things or then like, discover like, factors which have like, not yet been found. So as a company, hold on. There you go. Yeah. As a company, we do have quite a few clients now. We actually like went to the market just last year. We have recently also announced our Series A fund. Although we have had a lot of interest from the investors, and we are now considering to raise a pre-Series B, but that's like a few months away. We have also been like recognized by several platforms, and they have like prizes as well. Compared to, sorry, I'm just going to skip this slide, except to highlight that we do have a lot of partners, both on the hardware side and the clinical side. In terms of like clients, we do have like some of like the largest names in the field, and I'd be happy to answer more about that in the questions, just in view of the time. As a team, we are a bit unique because unlike most AI groups, we have had like pathologists on the team right from the beginning. These are people who have spent like 20 years in the field, led labs, worked in pharma, and then they looked at us as a potential way to actually change the way that path itself is done. We have investors, say like people in Mass Mutual, and then also like the Singapore like government, which have been quite exciting. If you'd like to learn more, the, these are the contacts of me and our chief of like strategy, and we are both based in US and Canada. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Aneesh. Perfect timing.
Yeah, great presentation. I'm going to jump in
Thanks.
with a question. I didn't see, so I really like, you have an impressive list of people that you're working with, and I saw that you're doing some work with Mayo Clinic. All very impressive. There are quite a few players in this space, so I was trying to understand a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit more about the competition and what you're sort of, if there is one key differentiator? I'm sure there's probably
absolutely
several, but what does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. And so most of our our competitors are actually based in the US, and what we're seeing here is that the uptake of pathology, especially in like the clinical field, I mean, has been slow. Whereas most of our early interest has been from like the Asian side, where where the digital path has been adopted really fast. We have now like for example, like several hospitals in India which have gone fully like I mean like paperless, and that is a big advantage in the terms of who we can work with. And so just because now we have a lot of experience as to what like hospitals need, that is one big one, and that's also where we come into play as to what the output of our AI looks like. Because we show specific outlines, that is much more actionable for the doctors. And the fact that we have a large like a network of pathologists, our costs of development are really low. Because for example, if you need to have a pathologist come in and then annotate like 1 or 2 slides, they'll charge you like an hourly rate in the US of around like $200 like dollars or so, whereas we get most slides annotated somewhere between like 1 to 5 like dollars each by pathologists. And so how we are able to execute this is like a bit of like our secret sauce, but like those would be the broad kind of like our advantages over most of the prominent like the competitors which we have.
Makes sense. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anish, I was hoping to jump in. Thank you for that presentation. Super impressive team. I love your presence. I love your speaking style. Like, keep that going. I have a question just on intellectual property and trade secrets. What I'm seeing here is you throw a slide under the microscope and your technology does most of the work that someone would have previously done laboriously automatically. There's great value proposition, right? The question is, with intellectual property and trade secrets, where do you stand on defensibility?
Absolutely.
Protect someone else from somehow getting ahead of you with this tech.
Got it. So in terms of IP itself, we have actually talked to several sets of lawyers across multiple countries to figure out whether and if AI should be I mean patented at all. And the feedback that we have had consistently is that don't. Not because you can't patent it, it's because once you do, it's hard to actually detect when someone infringes on it. That being said, it is also not difficult once you see like an AI output as to how that must have been built. So the defensibility actually comes in being able to access a large number of data slides and to have this network of pathologists, which is very hard to build, especially for companies which are just starting out. And so there, the fact that we can source thousands and thousands of slides very easily, it can be very cleanly annotated, means that the output which is there is not something that someone off the street can just build.
Quick follow-up question.
Yeah.
Do you have a revenue figure that you can quote?
So at the moment we are in like the early stages of like revenue because we just like went to the market, but I can say that a major hospital is paying us about like 30K to analyze like 300 slides, and the average path lab does anywhere between 300 to about 500,000 slides every year, and so that should like give you like a sense of scale of the problem.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
So we hear often that AI is going to eliminate the need for radiologists. So is AI going to eliminate the need for pathologists as well? Or are these pathologists just helping to make themselves obsolete? Or how do you fit it in long term? Is this a tool for pathologists, or eventually is the hospital just going to have your product and somebody treats the slides and puts it underneath the microscope and they're off and running?
So like philosophically, the way that I think about AI is not as a intelligence, I mean like as like an entity, but I think of AI more as like compressed history. And what I mean by that is the fact that we have a lot of like doctors which have been giving their inputs and then helping us get clean outputs. That means that when you have, say, a new pathologist, they don't have to spend, say, like decades behind the microscope to get the kind of accurate outputs which like an experienced path can have. And again, I mean, like from my own experience, the way I look at like computation overall is that it is just a tool. Someone still has to press the button, make the call. And purely from like a legal point of view, I don't think AI or even in radiology is going to be the case that it'll be like fully replaced anytime soon. There are edge cases where it might be good to do so. And one such case was where we were approached by a large path lab where they suggested that, say, we can build an AI for something like appendix analysis, where very few cases of appendicitis actually have any kind of like cancer in it. In this case, most of the cases can be analyzed by the AI, but that's not like something which was like legally easy to execute, and so we didn't like pursue that. But there are cases where this could be done, but I don't think that it's going to happen anytime soon. It will remain as a tool for the doctors, and our hope is to actually help them do more in a shorter amount of time.
Thank you, Aneesh.
Thanks.